Hey there, guys. Welcome back to our show. This is Sarah Nicole Nadler, your host, and today I have with me a very special guest. This is Patricia Tuckness. She's actually a Kansas City-based business broker. She helps small and medium-sized business owners to confidently and confidentially sell their business. So thank you so much for coming on the show today, Patricia.
Thank you for having me, Sarah. I look forward to finding some people that might need my help.
Yeah, this will be great. So will you tell us a little bit about your background? I know there's a whole story about how you actually got into this business. Will you share that with us today?
Yes. My background, I came out of college selling insurance, and I had a good friend that got me into real estate because she kind of foresaw the foreclosure boom. And at that time we got licensed and you could do this out of your house and all that. And so we sold a ton of foreclosures. The market changed again. I still independently do the health and life insurance and the marketplace enrollments and the Medicare enrollments. But in 2015, met a guy that was a business broker, and both of us were so curious about that because obviously the foreclosures had slowed down at that point, and business changes and moves and things that way. So and talking with him and continuing to probe him for how he, got into that. He was friends since junior high school with a guy named Tom Buckley with FMBC and Independence and business brokerage. And so they'd known each other forever. But Benny actually retired when I joined in around the end of 2015. But what was so fascinating to me was immediately when I heard what it was the first time I'd ever heard that in a networking group. And of course, as the insurance person or the real estate person, those are the first spots taken. You have to create your own group to have that seat and all that good stuff. So I found that super interesting, that I had never ran into a business broker in all this time of aggressively being in networking groups and starting some of my own and doing different things. So, and I also immediately thought of part of the why. I thought of two business owners that I wish I could have helped. One of them had a lease business in a strip mall, and the other one had their own business, successful business in an actual building on a main drag in one of these suburbs. And both of them, the one that in the strip mall didn't get anything for his. And the couple that had the business that was on the main drag in a suburb that's still growing, they didn't get anything for the business, and they got ripped off on the real estate because everyone knew that she had a health condition. Wow. And so I immediately thought, man, I wish I could have helped them. I wish I'd had known, anything and been able to broker their deal for them and find them a buyer and let them keep confidentiality. So all the customers, vendors, and competitors didn't know what was going on. The married couple, she contacted me when she saw that I posted on Facebook that I was a business broker. And she said, man, did you do this 3 or 4 years ago? And I go, no, but I thought of you when I thought of what a great service it would be. And also because I'd never ran into one before. Sure. And I didn't have a natural, because I didn't do a lot of group insurance and things like that in my insurance career. And foreclosures, we, sold them, and that was it. We were listing for the banks. So I didn't have a natural business to business background. So I thought none of these networking groups have a business broker. So I still continue to visit as many as I can, sub as I can, get into those as I can, and keep the word out there that this is a service that's available. And since I planted those seeds, since I started that. That's how I built my business brokerage career so far. And now I'm getting those referrals. Now I'm getting, now that the calls are coming in to me from this person, at this financial service place, or this person that, they heard their brother-in-law wanted to, sell and doesn't know how to go about it. So it was a slow start. And it's not an easy thing to do, but sure. Like I said, that's how I've kind of built my businesses, get the word out there and network.
Cool. Now, a lot of our listeners are kind of a mixed bag. We've got some 7-figure earners in this group. We've also got some people who are just have a business idea and haven't even launched it yet. Excuse me. So I would love if you would explain a little bit more about what does a business broker do, right? We kind of already said you sell businesses, but what does that process look like? And if there are listeners who are considering selling their business, or maybe even some listeners who've never even thought about that before, and they're going, oh, wow, I maybe could actually do this and retire early, right? What would you say are maybe some first steps for someone who they've never heard of this before and they're just kind of dipping their toe?
First steps, I would say, and we're unlike some agencies, but we offer a free business valuation and consultation.
Wow.
And there's no obligation whatsoever, no money up front. It's to develop that relationship. And that way, even if you're not ready, or, maybe it's down the road, but you're just kind of curious. And it's a good thing to know is your value of your business right now as it sits. Even if you don't want to ever sell it, you got 5 more generations underneath you that are going to take it over. So I say that's a good thing that we offer, and we establish that relationship. And in that process of me offering you that free valuation, we do look at your financials of the business, and I'm telling you things that add value and things that take away value from the business, because we use a basically proprietary software for the valuation, and it's something that's cash flow based. Most bankers and lawyers and different people, the buyer especially, would like ours, because it looks more at if I took over your spot, Sarah, how much would I gain? So
right.
If you're taking all the cash out of your business and it looks like you're losing money, you and your bank are going to say, oh, don't think so. We got to really have some ideas on why that's the case. And a lot of people do pour all the money back into their business, or, something to that extent. But one of the first tips I tell them is you got to show that you're making money, or that you can make money, even if you don't need that cash right now because you got other income and, you got a lot of other passive things going. You need to throw it in a retirement account for yourself, or something that shows that you're taking money and gaining from that business. So we can show that to the buyer and the buyer's banker, which is very important.
Yeah, to get that funding.
So first would be to take advantage of that. Do the free valuation with me and then see where you stand.
I think it's so valuable. And for anyone who's listening and is not familiar with buying and selling businesses, that's rare to find a third party who will come in and do a valuation for free. Someone who also has a lot of experience with buying and selling businesses and giving you that valuation for free, even if you're not necessarily shopping to sell right now. First of all, I think, Patricia, you'll back me up on this. You may be surprised at what your business is worth, and you may actually decide to sell now, because you can always just go start another business tomorrow. Doesn't mean you have to retire, right? But this could fund your next big passion project, right? So it is something to really consider, is finding out how much your business is actually worth right now. And then, as she pointed out, there's going to be tips in there on how to increase the value, just like we did yesterday. If you guys watched the video I did yesterday, I went over a lot of the different things you can do now to prepare your business so it's selling for maximum dollar. So I'm curious, Patricia, I'd like to attack that topic from another angle. From your point of view, what are some of the common mistakes you see business owners making when they're trying to sell their business, in terms of, oh, if you had just not done that, it would have been worth more?
Well, the biggest one is when you're yourself, and had I not been a business broker, I wouldn't have known this, but letting the cat out of the bag. They'll go to, their head mechanic or their head, cook or whoever. And if that person had the money to buy it, a lot of times they'd have their own restaurant or their own auto shop. So the confidentiality being important, that's the biggest one I see. And then also just not using a broker. What happens a lot of times is, if you use, say I'm buying your business, Sarah, and we use your accountant and your attorney and you write up everything, I'm probably not getting a good deal. I'm probably not getting the best deal possible. A business broker would be more subjective. I mean, we would want to we want you to get a good deal if you're the buyer, even though we work for the seller on a commission at close basis. So again, a lot of upfront work is done for that business owner, and hopefully they would refer us to other business owners and use us again, because like you said, a lot of people, they just don't have that passion anymore for this. But they're serial entrepreneurs, and they're like, especially since COVID, there was a lot of talk about all the people who were great resignation. And what happened is a lot of business owners were like, this isn't going to, I just don't like the people as much. The environment's changed, this kind of thing. And they changed their mind about wanting to do it another 10 years. They want to get their money and do something else. So those are a couple. I mean, I'd say confidentiality is tough, because if you're trying to sell it, who do you ask? The guy who owns something similar up the street, and then that's your competitor. Right. And he may be a great buyer for your auto shop, but if he passes, he's going to tell everybody else that has an auto shop that you're going out of business, or, something like that. Who knows? It gets turned around and all that. And I had somebody that was referred to me, and he tried to use a realtor, and that realtor put his address on MLS. So talk about blowing out confidentiality.
Yeah.
Anybody can Google, what sets here at, 123 Main Street. So that hurts for all kinds of reasons. Like I said, your competitors, your vendors, your employees. It's hard to keep employees these days. You sure don't want them thinking you're going out of business or selling. They may or not want to stay on with a new owner. They may just have been here the last 10 years because they enjoy Sarah and she's a great boss. Right. And so we don't want them to know until it's time to introduce them. And if the new owner wants to keep them, usually they do. So that's, and then making it, like I said, the business, the more you can make your business financeable, and that you're willing to finance, those are big added on points. Because if you limit yourself to, I'm not going to finance this and this, I get this from business owners a lot, you believe it or not. But how many people are going to walk up with, $750,000 in their pocket? Right. It's like, and then, if I get you a full price offer, they're probably going to do SBA or, something to that effect. And if they're going to, buy the real estate with the business, which we do as well, because we're real estate licensed, they're going to get an appraisal. So it's all going to have to come together. But I get that a lot is, I don't want to finance it. And I'm like, well, people don't always have 300,000 cash hanging around, or, 1.2 million, we want to make this look good. So any bank will take it. If I decide I want to buy it and I have a good, successful, maybe a complementary business, or I am a competitor, but I want to buy you out because I want all the business in that area, then we want to make it financeable, and we want to offer some financing because SBA will require it, quite frankly. And the more that you're flexible on that, that adds value points to the valuation.
And it's interesting you mentioned that, because yesterday, again, as I was going through the process and the framework of how to prep your business for this, I talked about the difference between going for a lump sum sale and financing. And I think a lot of the time, like you said, like getting a lump sum for your business sounds really flashy and wonderful. And in some ways it is less risk. You run the risk of the business failing if you're financing it from that transition. If you don't transition well, your competitor comes in and buys you out, or brand new business owner comes and buys your business and then they just flop it, right? And now it's hard to get your full price. But the truth is, there is a legal contract there protecting you. It's not like you're pissing in the wind, so to speak, right? Like when you're financing, there are a lot of terms and conditions around that to protect both you and the buyer. And in a lot of ways, I think that financing provides a passive income stream for you. Yes. Right now, you don't have to run your business anymore. You don't have to manage it. You're not involved in the day-to-day, but you still have income coming from it because the person's buying you out essentially over time. And I think that's actually in some ways a better deal. Not always, but it can be. So I'm curious what you've experienced with that. Have you seen people do that well, or are there any other downsides really to this?
Well, I mean, obviously, if I got to have a lump sum, that can be a pretty good, capital gains. I'm not an accountant, But I know
Yeah.
if you take 300 lump sum, it's not going to be as easy on your taxes as taking 150 and then financing the other 150 over 5 years. So
Right.
there's that to consider. Like you said, if you're really just going to retire, why not have, that coming in? And also,
Yeah.
if we work the deal, we get ours every month too, just like you
Right.
do. So if we're getting that 10% commission, then whatever that payment is to you, we're getting 10% of that, and over 5 years. So I have a couple of them right now where I get a small. I liked it to be more more businesses. I'm okay with financing them because I never anticipated a commission that was over monthly. And it's nice because I still have bills that come due monthly, whether I sell business this month or not. So
Right.
it's fine for me, and it works for you because you're not worried about paying me up front and then all that sort of thing. If you get paid overtime, I get paid overtime as well because
Yeah.
that works out, and then that way I'll have a little bit. Those could always be more, and like I said, bills come due monthly. That's why I kept doing the insurance because people pay the premium monthly, and I get commissions on that monthly. So,
Smart.
yeah. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, recurring income, I think when you first get into business, a lot of people, myself included, right, devalue the importance of having recurring customers and recurring revenue, right? We go, oh, I just want to be paid up front. I want that lump sum. I want that, right? And then after you've had a couple of months where you started, October 1st, you started at zero again because you don't have any recurring clients or any recurring revenue. After a couple of months of that, you start to really respect how much a passive stream of income into your business every month can really help, right? So I think as business owners, we're always looking at like, okay, how can I build my value ladder? How can I add additional services to sell to the same guy so I don't have to go find a new client, right? But think about that when you're selling your business too, right? Patricia has a good point that it's not just about the lump sum. It's also about like knowing every month that there's going to be income. You don't have to do anything. The work is done. Now you just have to reap the rewards. And those recurring bills are going to be paid by that income. So if you have a retirement plan, maybe you've got a 401k or whatever, you're trying to retire early, maybe you're only at age 50, you still got, 9.5 years before you can start withdrawing that lump sum, you might run out. But if you have that consistent revenue every single month, right? Or income, it's not revenue anymore because it's not a business, but you have that consistent income coming in every single month from the sale of your business, that's going to last you at least until your retirement kicks in. Again, this is a really good early retirement strategy. I'm curious, Patricia, do you know anybody who's done that? Someone who sold early and they're living off of the sale now?
Well, they're getting income off of the sales now, but they're still like you said, they're doing other things. They're working in other areas.
Yeah.
Shoot, I was thinking, we get interest on that too, by the way.
Right.
And where else are you going to get 5% interest monthly?
Yeah, not on your savings
right
account,
now,
that's for sure.
The ones that that have paid it over time. One of them is being paid 5% interest on that, and I don't know. It's a tough market out there for financial planners, and I won't pretend to speak for them, but I think if you told them I need 5% on this, 300,000 or 800,000 or 150,000, they'd be hard fit to slip you into something right away that would
Sure.
do that. Checking accounts are paying like a tiny percentage of 1%.
Yeah.
Savings accounts at banks and things aren't even paying anywhere near 1%. So I would think you think of it on that long-term type of situation, you're actually gaining because you have to agree to that interest rate. And if the person tries to give you, I've had people try to put the thing in with zero interest, and the sellers say, no, give me something, 3%, 5%. SBAs are, running even higher than that now. Some of them are at 7.75 and 6.5. And as you know, mortgage rates and all that went up, and that probably would continue to be the case. But as far as what we're gaining on our money, if it's in a savings account, good luck. You know, you're never going to get anything near what you would get from this person that's willing to step in there. And SBA actually will require it. Will require you to keep at least 10% minimum, and they like even more. You know, they like the deals even better if you'll go 20, 25%. And I know sometimes I have to really talk a seller into that, because you just saying that you'll do that doesn't mean you have to. You know, Joe Blow comes and he has no experience in your business and you're kind of iffy on whether it succeeds. You can kind of make sure. But you're not only going to run into it where it's required by the SBA if they're already saying that it's worth the whole amount we're asking or whatever we agree to. And you know that the SBA is basically backing that loan like the FHA backs, housing loans. And they don't do that unless they're sure and certain that that business is worth that. And if that person's financed for 90% and they're giving us full price, we should definitely take that offer and finance the 10, because, you know, we're getting, first of all, full price. And most people would negotiate to try to get the business for even less if they could. So, I think it'd be nice passive income to have. And
totally.
I've on the other end of it, though, I have seen sellers that have financed 100% and then they end up taking it back.
Right.
Because that person isn't performing, isn't taking care of their employees, isn't taking care of their customers. In fact, we had one gentleman that he'd taken it back twice already, and we're trying to help get his business sold and not finance the whole thing, at least get some of it up front. And if we can get that person qualified for FHA, or not FHA, SBA, a bank, back loan, then I don't think we're nearly at the risk that they'll go. And if they do, like I said, we're just 10% less anyway, and we might have accepted that.
Sure. Yeah. The thing is too, from what you said, like, sure, there are those scary stories out there of having to take the business back when you fully financed it. But I think that comes down to also what I talked about yesterday, right, on that video, which is you have to prep the business. You also have to prep with a transition plan. Like, as you said, like, there's confidentiality with your employees up until a point. And then there comes a point where you have to have a plan of, like, how am I going to tell the employees so that they want to stick around, right? How am I going to tell the customers so that they want to stick around? Because if you're financing and the way you do that transition plan drives away all the customers, good luck getting your money out of that. You know what I mean? So the transition plan is, and prepping the business to be sold is just as important as the negotiation, in my opinion.
Right.
So I'm curious, again, what are some other, if there are any other big mistakes you've seen business owners make in terms of transitioning to that seller?
Well, if there's, sometimes it's, you gotta be very diligent in getting the information that you can from them. That being said, we have a lot of disclaimers about if the seller is not honest with us. Unfortunately, I've spent a lot of time selling some businesses, and they've signed up to list with me for quite a while, and then they just close. I'm like, we talked about this. It takes a while to sell a business correctly. And I don't have the new stats, but before COVID, it was about 9 months on the average to sell it. So you're in it.
I said 6 to 12. So I'm glad you didn't make a liar out of me. Because I said yesterday, I was like, be prepared for 6 to 12 months.
And so when they close, I got them, they signed a whole year contract, and, they closed 6 months. I'm like, we would have priced this differently. We would have been way more aggressive. If your plan is that if this doesn't sell, I'm going to close, we need to have that very clear up front, because I wouldn't have taken it for 6 months, frankly. They're all unique. All businesses are unique, even if it's a restaurant, which you think any restaurant owner could own another restaurant. No, they're all very unique. The employees are unique. Sometimes they have employees that have been with them and they treat them like family and buy them benefits. And then other places everybody's 1099, but they've still been with them 5 to 7 years, So all businesses are unique. So just because I have a successful restaurant that seems similar to yours doesn't mean that I'll be good at taking yours over, depending on, the schematics of all those things. So my average I heard was 8 to 9 months, and if my problem is when they're not honest with me and they say, well, we're going to disclose it, then I'm listed with them for a month or two. By the time I start to get the leads and I call them, okay, somebody's interested, I'm seeing that they closed down, or they're telling me that they closed down. And I'm like,
yeah,
don't you remember our conversation? Because I always make it very clear that I need to list them for a year. Now, it does me no good if you signed up for that year with me and then all of a sudden you just, because I've worked it just as hard. If it was worth 10 times as much, I obviously want to get you as much as I can. But if I know our time is that limited, there are only a few businesses I would even consider it on. And that's because we always have buyers in our database for certain industries.
Sure.
So there's no way I'd take a 3-month listing or a 6-month listing or something like that and work very hard, because I'm always going to give it my best. That's one thing they can count on, because I don't get paid and I've still worked. Yeah. I've still done the work. I've still done the valuation. We've still advertised as an agency nationwide for those leads, and we can sell businesses anywhere in the United States. We're licensed Kansas and Missouri for the real estate. So we can package that together, and that's what we would do. Because anybody, like I said, can find out if they know the address, what business is in there. So we do not put that on MLS or any, listing unless it's just if it's a real estate deal, it's a real estate deal. But if it's a business deal, we want to keep the confidentiality on that.
Right.
So yeah, that's the most frustrating thing is when.
Yeah. Well, Patricia, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing these nuggets. These are just solid gold, honestly, for anyone who's really considering selling the business, or someone who's looking, maybe they're young 20s and they just started something. Knowing your exit strategy from the beginning can help you avoid a lot of mistakes, right? And make a lot of correct choices about how you structure the business, how diligent you are about your bookkeeping, right? All of that. So thank you so much, Patricia. If someone watching this video wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
The best way to do that, they can call me, 816-616-5297. Actually, call or text me directly, or they can go to my webpage, www.patbizbroker.com. And that has a couple little just contact windows, talks about the free valuation. We also always need buyers. Just want to mention real quick, we always need buyers. So if people are thinking of starting something, they're not sure, they might look through our list. We might have an existing, already going turnkey revenue business that's similar to what they were thinking of doing, and they can take that over and have immediate revenue and have an up and going business. And all they need to do would be to fill out our confidentiality agreement and see all the listings that we have nationwide. And so we're always looking for buyers as well. So anyone who wants to take advantage of that free valuation of their business, and doesn't matter what the reason is, like I said, that may just be you want to see if you can get a credit line with the bank, and are you just curious if you gave it to your kids how much you would need to really charge them? Those have to be certified with the IRS, so that's a different valuation process. But Mike could kind of give you an idea up front. So anybody who's interested in a conversation, just have them just click on the website or give me a call or text. I'd be glad to try to help and answer questions up front. Thanks for having me, Sarah. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This was wonderful. I hope we get to talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Sounds great. You have a good day.